Coming at you live from DNHQ in beautiful South Pasadena, California. This is a show that is called the Blue Heaven Podcast. What's going on, Dodgers Nation? My name is Clint. You can find me as Real FRG on Twitter and Instagram. That gentleman right there is the legendary Douglas McCain, DMac_LA, Twitter and Instagram. It's Friday. We're doing a show for some reason because we're just that dedicated to this Dodger team. How you doing, bud?
We are. We're about this Dodgers life. The Dodgers are going to take on the D-backs for the 50th time for the last week. So excited to see that and excited to play some different teams at some point.
Giants on Monday.
Yeah.
Cannot come soon enough. Guys, thanks for hanging out with us. Let us know in the comments, wherever they may be for you, where you're representing Dodgers Nation tonight. Leave an area code because zip codes are too long. An area code's the 3 that comes with your phone number. Don't leave your phone number. Don't leave your social security number. We want zip codes in the stream. And let us know what you want to talk about. We got some ideas. We got some general Dodgers updates. We got some injury things to kind of work through. We want to talk about probably two of the biggest topics that fans are talking about right now online. Max Muncy, Dustin May. So we'll talk about those guys later in the show. And then something a little different to end things. But let's get into a few comments and see what's going on here in the stream. Some people a little surprised to see us going live on Friday. Same. But we were feeling it.
Friday. It's all good.
Juice Nero says going up on a Friday.
Vegas 702, Roy Estrada. Yeah. Giants, Padres suck. We agree with that for sure. NL West rivals.
Yeah. DKM says, yo, D-Mac, Clint, what's going on? Anthony Keene, it's not Monday, is it? It is not Monday. You don't have a case of the Mondays. We didn't have any lasagna, so can't be Monday. Noah's in the stream. He's also right there, and he says, let's go, which is a classic catchphrase of his for sure. Deborah Young in the stream. Let's go Dodgers. Bradley's checking in on YouTube. 541 is where Bradley is checking in at. Daniel says already put money down on Dustin May winning the Cy Young. Heard it here first.
The Cy Young. That's bold. After 2 starts
bold
against the D-backs, you're feeling good. I mean, the reality is after 2 games, he pretty much is a top 5 pitcher right now. I mean,
0.69 ERA.
Giggity.
Nice. Nice.
Giggity.
Emar checking in from 562. Hey, that's like sort of my hood, even though 562 is kind of wine. You remember back in the good old days when there was no 562 and we just had everybody was 3-0?
Yeah, the 562 days. And then the 424 came out of nowhere.
Yeah, get your ish together, 424. You don't even non-existing ass.
Well, so about the 213, shout out to Warren G and Nate Dogg and Snoop. Rap group? But, you know.
Rap group. Did you see how the silence just made his brain break? That beat of silence. M. Moyes, probably getting it wrong, but you're from the 805. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Sean 714 hanging out. Of course, Keen checking in from the 310. The good old 310. Doom Sal. Before the All-Star break, Dustin May, the #1 pitcher for LA. I don't remember exactly what I said, but I do know I was pretty high on D-May for our I think it was the preseason roundtable we did, me, you, and Noah. I have him leading the team in wins, probably not innings, but possibly ERA, and I think he's going to be one of the best pitchers on this team. Like, he's going to be the guy we look at by the end of the season who's like, wow, this is the dude. But we'll talk more D-May later, because I want to get D-Max D-May thoughts. Roy 702, that's Las Vegas. Mr. Dodger 562 checking in from 562. Imagine that, the username matches.
There we go.
Get through a couple of them.
We got Emar, Will Smith, and D-Mac are even more twins this year. I don't know what you mean by that. Both could win MVP. Is that what you're saying? We got Sylvia Nunez, 803, South Carolina in the house. Frank Garcia headed to Dodger Stadium East in Phoenix as we speak. Yeah, represent there. Pretty much quasi-Dodger Stadium down there. There was a little more Diamondbacks fans than we're used to because it was opening day. We'll see. It's going to change very quickly. Can't believe they booed David Peralta. I mean, what was that about?
He got a nice ovation before the game. He got that nice ovation in the first inning while he was on defense. But yeah, him going up there and getting some of the boo birds, whatever. Rivalry runs strong, and he signed with the Dodgers as opposed to not signing with a big league team. So I guess they could be mad at him.
Yeah, I mean,
stupid.
They're just mad. I mean, end up in a better situation, right? We got who wants to see Will Smith get MVP? That's from DKM. Yeah, a little premature on a lot of this Will Smith MVP, Dustin May, Cy Young talk. We're less than 1% through the season, but yeah, great starts for 2 of the young, great Dodger up-and-coming players for sure.
What you know about the hottest of hot takes and the most, what do you call that? Just, I don't know.
What?
Overdoing it. That's what we're about, Just get in there as soon as you can. One start. Hall of Fame career is right in doorstep for Dustin May.
Exactly. I already got my tickets to Cooperstown for Will Smith and Dustin May's Hall of Fame acceptance speeches. I can't wait to see their bust. Both will be wearing Dodger hats, so that's all that matters. But we got DKM. I want to see James Outman playing in the All-Star game. He's looking great. He has another guy that's gotten off to a great start. I think his pitch recognition, you see his walk rate is up. The strike rate has been pretty consistent. Last night I see him, he had a little nubber down the left side there, the 83 miles per hour off the bat. Then he's also scorching balls. So, yeah, James Outman, he has looked the part so far. Also defensively, just effortless, smooth, great first step. He's going to help this team, and I think he's here to stay. There's no question about it.
I think the best way to describe him is a complete ball player right now. Getting started against the lefty tonight as well. Mad Bum on the bump. Hopefully, Trace Thompson gets his next series of hits because so far, he is 0 for not April Fool's Day. I'm just saying.
Wow.
I'm just saying. Daniel says, I think we missed out on trading for Brian Reynolds. Going to cost a king's ransom for him now. It was going to cost a king's ransom before the season. That was one of the limitations or one of the things restricting, I guess we can say, the Dodgers from going out and getting him. Also restricting him is, hey, they feel really confident about Miguel Vargas, about James Outman, about a Gavin Stone somewhere down the road. When he's healthy, Ryan Pepio, Michael Grove had a pretty decent start. Just, he was sick and he still got 4 innings, and it could have been better if inherited runners didn't score. But give me right now. I don't know. Would you take Outman over Reynolds? I think I saw you tweet something about it. You'd still back the prospects brink truck up to go get him.
No, I think when I look at James Outman, I look at Brian Reynolds, I think what a lot of fans don't realize is that, yes, he is a center fielder for the Pirates. You have a cavernous outfield, and he definitely makes things look easy out there, but really, he really profiles as a corner outfielder. So I think right now, James Outman, he's my center fielder for the future. If you could go out there and get a Brian Reynolds without having to give up a package that's similar to the Juan Soto-like package, we're giving up pretty much the entire farm system. You're gutting the top part, even at 3 of your top 5 prospects, things like that. I wouldn't be about that if I was the Dodgers. I definitely would not. I would avoid a move like that just because, look, the outfield depth looks solid for the Dodgers, especially when you have Jason Hayward. He hit the hardest ball this season. The ball he hit would have been the hardest ball of the season for the Dodgers last year. Everything he's been hitting has been scorched. Also, defensively, he's above average. So I think outfield depth really isn't the problem right now. But if you needed to add another bat, there's just not a lot of infield options around. And I think if you would trade for a Brian Reynolds, you could stick him into left field and maybe take his next step in being a corner outfielder. But yeah, the thing about Brian Reynolds, though, too many years of team control. There's 3 years of team control, and team control equals raising the prospect capital. And the Dodgers, they do not want to do that. And I also think, too, the Dodgers aren't going to trade their pieces early in the game. And I also think that they're going to avoid making a move with the Pittsburgh Pirates. So Brian Reynolds is a guy that, would he move the needle? Would he help this team tremendously? He would, but the offense really hasn't been the issue early on. And I don't think they're going to address it in center field.
Lead the National League in runs scored, 1 behind the undefeated Tampa Bay Rays as of the time we were live, or entering play today on Friday. Lead the NL in run differential. They're scoring. They're doing that thing they do. The Dodgers doing that thing they do where they score in bunches. We talked about this on Monday, and it hasn't really changed so far this week. But hey, you take the winning streak, just keep it going. But yeah, it's not the offense. And you know what? If Jason Hayward can keep doing what he's doing, which clock can very much strike midnight at any point. Keep doing what he's doing. We're going to be in an okay spot. And yeah, I agree with one of the things we're going to talk about in a little bit is you probably want to look more towards some infield help than outfield help on the moment. At the moment. Great comment here from Rumar Spencer on YouTube. Says y'all look pretty much like brothers. Yeah, we didn't plan the ensemble here.
In the Navy. No one? Okay.
There's nothing better than a bit of good bit of silence there. Soul Bro 1503 checking in, says, "Yo, what's going on?" Chris Chavez 405 checking in. Sean says the Diamondbacks are just mad we jumped in their pool. You guys remember that? 10 years ago.
Best day ever.
Yeah, it is 10 years ago now.
Yeah,
oof.
Back in 2013.
The only guy left from that team.
The Puig was the best, just going whoosh.
Clayton Kershaw, and he gets start number 400 of his career tonight. Could win game number, what is it, 199?
Yeah.
198.
199.
It's a lot. It's a lot of wins.
It's a lot of dubs for King Kirsch, for sure. Sometimes he's had his issues down there. in Arizona, but you're going against a familiar foe in Madison Bumgarner. Feel good. Coming off that start, 6 innings, had 9 punch-outs. His stuff is looking really good early on. So, yeah, he's looking healthy, and he's also trying to one-up Dustin May after last night. I think there's going to be a nice little competitive battle through all these starters because everyone's pitching so well, save for Michael Grove, who was good until he wasn't. But this rotation is looking really, really solid early on.
Yeah, the starting pitching loves talking about, hey, the better the competition is going on in the rotation, the better they end up. But we've seen that with like Greinke and Kirsch in the past. It's very fun to do that. So appreciate the comments so far. We'll get into it, but let's get into some of the beefier topics we wanted to talk about. So this is the latest in Dodgers Nation, and that is brought to you by the Dodgers Nation app. It's new. It's new and improved. It is on your Android and Apple stores and all those kind of things that you can get to. All of our YouTube videos are on there. All of our podcasts are on the Dodgers Nation app. Just go search your whatever. What do they call those? Your Play Store or whatever. Wherever you get your apps, we're going to be on there. Download it. There's a schedule on there. I think we're working to eventually add some things where like you can get push notifications about the schedule if you want that sort of thing. So we're right there. And it'd mean a whole lot to us if you went out and got the Dodgers Nation app. So let's talk about some injury updates. Hey, Miguel Vargas is back in the lineup finally. Missed a few games. Got hit on the thumb. Had a little bit of an ouchie, but he's feeling good. It sounded like he could have pinch hit last night. He probably could have played on Wednesday if there was a game, but they just want to be a little cautious with him. Miguel Rojas remains out of the lineup. He's still nursing that groin, and I know this kind of leads us to one of the concerns we had heading into the season, and a concern that you kind of have right now early in the season is like as soon as you lose a Rojas, really, you don't have a necessarily true shortstop. Yeah, CT's there. He's played a lot of short. Hit and miss right now with his defense, but the depth is challenged on the infield.
Yeah, no, the depth is like an above-ground pull, especially for the infield. And then just think, one pulled hamstring, one injury here or there. You're looking at guys like Yanni Hernandez, guys like maybe Luke Williams. And in that situation, you're maybe going to have to look to DFA a guy down the line. We know the Dodgers don't want to do that. And look, I mean, you talk about Miguel Rojas. And Miguel Rojas, there's no doubt about his defensive ability. He is a top-5 shortstop with the glove, but Father of Time is undefeated. He's 34 years old, which in shortstop's years is like 54 years old. So
up there.
That definitely is a concern I have. And look, early on this season, I mean, Doc even talked about it. They are going to veer on the side of caution. He could have already been back in the lineup if this were the postseason, if this were a meaningful series later in the year. But they realized that they need him for a different role than they anticipated. With the Gavin Lux injury, you need Rojas to get 80% of the reps at shortstop. But if someone does go down, it really, to me, it's like a Jenga tower. I mean, you just pull him out and then the whole thing crumbles because really, I mean, what do? Do you have a Miguel Vargas at second base who's still trying to prove himself at that position defensively? Before this season, hadn't played in a single inning at the Keystone before in his career, and he's still trying to figure things out. And then third base, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Max Muncy has been struggling. Freddie Freeman is a rock at first. There's no question about that. But still, I think this infield depth is a concern. I mean, Chris Taylor's made some pretty nice plays early on, but still, you want to maintain his versatility for some outfield spots if some other guys go down. So I think that if you're looking at teams out there, if you're looking at potential options, the Willy Adames, the Tim Anderson types, I think if those names become available, I think that you definitely consider moving away some of these prospects, because I think another domino in all of this is Dustin May and the start that he's had. And the fact that you are going to try to bring up a Gavin Stone this season, you are going to try to give Ryan Pepiot an opportunity.
I know where you're going with this.
If there's if you trade Tony Gonsolin with his stock where it is, you trade some big league ready talent. Maybe you could make a deal for a top level infielder that can help this team right now in a package that doesn't include a Diego Cartaya or a Bobby Miller. Maybe you could part ways with a Dalton Russian type or a Michael Busch type and include some big league ready talent. So there are some options out there, and I do think that I'm very intrigued by the idea of adding to this infield.
Another thing too, you mentioned a few of those guys, mainly on the starting pitching side of things. It's as very early, 7 games in, or through 7 games as of right now. it doesn't seem at the moment like there will need to be a trade for a starting pitcher at the deadline. So you don't need to go and send some of those assets away to get a Corbin Burns, which you've been on the Corbin Burns Marching and Chowder Society for a long time. And clearly with his 9.5 ERA, he wants the hell out of Milwaukee.
He's doing that just for me.
Yeah.
Lowering his trade
He's a
value.
big fan. No, for sure. Friend of the show. But yeah, you're able to use those guys. I think we can say without a doubt Michael Busch is going to be traded. Some point this year he's going to be part of some sort of deal because the kid needs to play and he has nowhere to play in LA. The only thing that could get him time, and I don't even want to put it in the ethos, but I'm gonna, is a Freddie Freeman injury. It's the only way we're going to see Michael Busch. He's trying to play some third base. You're not going to see him playing third base as a big leaguer, but you're able to have a little bit more, I guess we could say, prospect optionality in terms of who you can move and who you can trade for. I would honestly argue a Tim Anderson becoming available is more likely than a Willy Adames becoming available, just because it feels like and it sounds like Milwaukee really wants to build around him and do something with that dude. That dude, as they call him.
Oh, yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I've been watching the White Sox games like a hawk. They're 3-5 to start the year. And Tim Anderson makes a lot of sense for the Dodgers because, one, he can play that shortstop position, but two, he has that really team-friendly club option for next year that you know you're going to pick up around $14 million. And let's say they trade for Tim Anderson. The first thing I would do, Clint, I'd move Mookie Betts down the lineup, have him more as a run producer. Mookie Betts has been below average on the base paths as a speed guy. He's not that at this point in his career.
Not fast.
And you put Tim Anderson in the leadoff spot, a guy that has better bat to ball skills, a guy that can hit for more singles and give a different dynamic to this offense. And then next year, when Gavin Lux returned, what do we see Tim Anderson do at the WBC? He was playing second base. So if you want to have Gavin Lux at short, you can have Tim Anderson at second. And if you don't want to pick up Max Muncy's club option, you throw Miguel Vargas at third base. So there are some options. I love the idea of the Dodgers trading for Tim Anderson. On top of everything he brings from the batter's box, I think he also brings those intangible qualities, that passion, that fire. He's one of the more popular players in the league. And this White Sox team, it's fool's gold. They're pretending that they're going to contend. They're not going to be able to contend in the AL Central.
Another positive note on TA is you go and look at his Twitter, and he was trash talking and clowning on Logan Webb, so he's ready for that Dodgers Giants rivalry. Looking forward to that. Calling Logan Webb, what do you call him, Big Head, something like that. Oh, that's delicious right there.
He's already a Dodger, man.
Yeah, he's born and bred for that. Emar says, I keep getting jelly. Trey Turner left us, wishing Rojas a speedy recovery. Hey, Trey Turner's having a good start to a season, but we've talked about it. You've said it a number of times. He did not want to be in L.A. It was that obvious, and it's not so much about not wanting to be in L.A. He wanted to be closer to his family, which makes sense. If you can get all of that money in your pocket and still play in a better situation for your future, and what you prefer to do is be around your family, we know Doug, he says he doesn't care about his friends and family. He cares about you guys.
Context. Yeah, exactly. You guys are my friends and family. Now I love my friends and my family.
He was forced to say that. He's here so he doesn't get fined. But yeah, I mean, Trey didn't want to be here, and that's kind of the reality of it. Not so much he didn't want to be here, he wanted to be there more. Matty Man 5 Dodge says, "Oh, I want a crazy idea. How about Mookie Betts at short?"
Absolutely not. I think Mookie Betts, he has the athletic ability to play shortstop, but I already have an issue with Mookie Betts playing second because to me, when I see Mookie Betts, like I was telling you before the show, it feels like I'm watching Final Destination, and he's avoiding all these injuries. First, he runs into Jay Hay in the outfield. He hurt his knee, hurt his ankle. I mean, there were some questions about that.
It's like one play, though.
But still, he has been fragile. I mean, look, he had to get the hip shot just to be able to come back a few years ago, and this is your $365 million man. You need him in the lineup. You can't have him banged up. And also, there's this other thing, too. He's a 6-time Gold Glove Award-winning right fielder, okay? That's a premium position. He locks down that right field spot. And I think, too, the shortstop position, it takes a lot out of you physically. And Mookie, his biggest value that he brings is what he can do with the bat and at the plate. I mean, we're talking about a guy who should be at 140 WRC+, 40% above league average. The power has surged in recent years. That is where the money is with Mookie Betts, not as a shortstop. It's an interesting idea. I heard our friend Vincent Semperio tweeting this a few weeks ago. It's an interesting idea, but for me, I think the organization realizes that at this point, with the restriction on the shift, you need a defensive-minded shortstop or just someone that can withstand the wear and tear of that position.
Miguel Rojas not showing so much he could withstand the wear and tear apparently at age 34. You know what? It's funny. I don't mind. Or how can I read? I want to change the way I'm going to angle this. I think it's funny the grief that Mookie gets about playing second, but also like the way people talk. I say, wow, he could play second base. It's like, bro, we watched Kike Hernandez go and play elite level defense all around the field for 5 years. And people are like, look at Mookie Betts. He's doing something that's never been done sometime. I mean, I guess if you're watching like a crappy ESPN broadcast or something where they know nothing about the team. So anyways, I think it's kind of funny. I think he's fine at second, and I think the more he plays there, he looks good at times. But, you also mentioned Mookie kind of slowing down. That's going to get worse and worse in right field. You're going to flash forward about 5 or 6 years. He's going to possibly be your starting second baseman.
I mean, look, if you look at, there's a big difference between outfield speed versus speed on the base pass, right? And we know that Mookie, he's going to be able to, I mean, you also consider his arm, him throwing out guys, outfield assists, already has 2 outfield assists on the season. And yeah, I'm just concerned that, there's all this fun novelty about Mookie at 2B. And yes, he does make some athletic plays. I think he makes the turn really well. You've seen him turn double plays. So I'm confident that he can play that position. And look, pretty much, guys, all great baseball players. If you were good in Little League, what position did you play? You played shortstop,
That's
right?
fair.
All great players came up as a shortstop. But
I didn't play Little League.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
I was going to say,
Producer Cody on the stream.
Every kid's dream is to play shortstop for the Dodgers.
This is true.
That's true. That's true.
You guys are denying Mookie of his dream to playing shortstop for the Dodgers. What the hell, guys?
Yeah, that's a great point, Cody. I think you make a great point. Of course, it's a shout out to Mr. Gavin Lux, who's off the crutches pretty soon, making progress.
I like seeing Gavin around the boys, man. Keep him relevant.
Yeah,
that's what he wants to do. That's what Dave mentioned. A couple people in there talking about Kiner Falefa.
Interesting.
You guys want to hear more about IKF and Doug's thoughts on that? Check it out on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/DodgerNationTV. Hit the bell, leave a like, leave a comment on every single video we've ever done that my face or his face is in.
I just want to point some out. I saw some comments when I dropped that video. IKF, how can we have IKF? And what I say in the video, I said, the Dodgers, they're going to have outfield depth because this was before Outman or Hayward played. And I said they were going to be dudes they could count on. And I said that maybe Trace Thompson could be a guy that you could trade. And that's the issue I have is, look, you're not bringing IKF to be a starting shortstop. You're bringing him into play the role that Miguel Rojas was originally going to play. But look, I've shifted gears to TA to LA anyway. So look, Gleyber Torres, Dick Patton over on YouTube says Gleyber Torres is on our fantasy team. Adam818, the dream is to play shortstop for the Yankees, not the Dodgers. Just saying. Y'all never forget when Corey Seager.
I've never met a good Yankees shortstop.
Yeah.
Shout out Eric Yulo.
Shout out to the half Filipino Anthony Volpe.
Oh yeah. How's that kid doing?
He's
So random.
Hey, we should start a new show called Talking Yanks.
Talking Yanks.
I think this would be this would be a real good show. All right, let's move on. We've killed time there. But anyways, we talked about the infield. Vargas is back. He's gonna be fine. He's looked good. He's looked fun. The on base machine, Miguel Vargas. You love him. Quick little added notes, injury updates. Tony Gonsolin, he threw to hitters on Wednesday. Pitched live BP at Camelback Ranch. Dave seemed kind of like, he came out of it alive, but he didn't look very good. You got to figure this is the first time he's essentially restarting spring training right now. He got 2 innings against the Angels just over a month ago. He was supposed to make his second start of the spring when he rolled his ankle. They say if we see him at the end of April, we'll be in a pretty good spot. But he's going to throw to hitters one more time. I think he would have already gone out on a rehab assignment if he had a good. If he came out of that live BP well, but he didn't. So if it pushes into May, you're kind of okay. We haven't heard too much about Ryan Pepio. I'm assuming they say that. We probably just got an update today from Dave, most likely, or we will soon enough if he hasn't talked yet. You haven't heard anything from Pepio. It's an oblique thing, though, so that's probably going to take a little bit longer. Just to throw that out there.
And those tend to fester. Those tend to be tricky injuries, but they said they caught it early with Pepio, so hopefully he can get back in. It's a big opportunity, especially when you see Dustin May having the success, and we know that there's other guys that could get some opportunities too. So Pepio, get back soon. We need him.
Best friend right there. All right, let's get into the big topics, but first we got to talk about the big, hugest, most important thing in all of Dodgers Nation. And that's whatever we're talking about in this commercial. Are you a diehard Dodgers fan looking for in-depth analysis and coverage of your favorite team? Look no further. Our team of experts provides game recaps, player profiles, interviews, in-depth statistical analysis you're not going to find anywhere else. Don't miss a single play. Don't miss anything about your team. Follow us now, DodgersNation.com. Wait, there's .com.
Yeah.
Huge. But yeah, hey, the best way to support us, guys, we appreciate whenever people leave super chats in here, whenever people go and support us by buying some merch on gearup.la, downloading the app, all that kind of stuff. The best way, the absolute best way to support us, DodgersNation.com. Always the best way to support us. All right, so what are Dodgers fans talking about right now, D-Mac? You know what they're talking about. They're talking about Maxwell Muncy, friend of the show. It pains us because he has become a pretty good friend of the show now, having talked to him a couple of times. But funny enough, more than the offense, the defense at third, Max will tell you it hasn't been good. Our eyeballs will tell us it hasn't been good. Only 2 errors, but missing some plays. You know, I agree with part of his excuse. One of the things he had mentioned on a podcast, I can't remember which one it was, but he had said, the dirt at Dodger Stadium hasn't really taken yet because of all the rain, which is a thing. But I don't know. Give me your just initial Max Muncy thoughts. Less about the offense, more about the D at third.
Yeah, I think defensively, he's always had some limitations just because he's not the most agile defender. He's not going to cover a lot of ground. You see just the way his body's made up. He's just kind of a bigger dude out there. You're not going to see him making those nice Nolan Arenado-like backhands on the line.
For sure.
And that's really what he struggles with. I mean, those just right down the line in left field. He's not going to see him make those highlight backhanded plays. I've been getting PTSD from that Hassan Kim double in the NLDS and just kind of seeing that, yeah, sometimes he struggles with that. But also I think it's the instincts, too. I mean, we saw him early on, just not charging balls, kind of on his heels a little bit. And he did make some nice plays yesterday. I mean, some hot shots kind of right to him. But yeah, it's definitely, if you look at his outs above average, he's in the 1 percentile right now. He's a -2 DRS, whereas first base back in 2021, he was emerging as one of the best first base defenders in the league. So yeah, it definitely is a cause for concern, and he just does not look comfortable out there. And he's just not making routine plays at times that we've seen third basemen make. So yeah, definitely he's a guy that he's going to look at the tape. He's going to look at technique and look at ways that he can cover more ground and make more plays. But yeah, so far the early returns at Max Muncy as pretty much the everyday third baseman. Last year, he became the everyday third baseman towards the end. But this is really the first year you're seeing from start to finish him as that everyday third baseman, and he has yet to really inspire much confidence there.
It feels like when the calendar switched to regular season, maybe there was a bit of pressure he put on himself, which fully understandable. He came off a terrible 2022, even if he rebounded, had a good final 2 months and all that. You know, we know the numbers were a lot better after the step back and everything, but I think he got in his head a little bit. Had a really good spring, but when the games count, when the games mean something again, I could see like the oh crap, you know. I could understand that side of it. And then one thing going against you, and now you're like, okay, well, now I need to try harder. And then, you know, after that, a ball comes up and clips you in the nuts and all of this kind of stuff. It just he talked about it yesterday, and I forgot the exact way he said it, but it was, you know, it's like one bad thing leading to another, pretty much. And that's the story of Mr. Max Muncy's season so far. Guys, give us your Max Muncy thoughts so far this season. Again, we're gonna throw the small sample size stamp of small sample size on this one, but I know you had asked earlier this morning on our Twitter, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your concern level with Max Muncy's defense? And that's where the folks sounded off the most. You're going to get plenty of 10s in there just because people love to, you know, exaggerate, but I don't know, pretty mixed. I don't know what you have in there. I don't know if you even have it open because we didn't necessarily talk about it, but
yeah, we got some questions. We got some comments about Max Muncy, and DCAM says we should have kept Manny, but he's 11 years extended, would have been a good guy to keep. So it seems like, yeah, some people, they're not very happy with his defense. And, yeah, he definitely needs to turn it around. I mean, like I said, a 1% outs above average. The defense just has not been there. One thing that sticks out with me from last night's game is ground ball to Chris Taylor, and Max Muncy is trying to go 20 feet in front of Chris Taylor, kind of to get a ball from him. I'm like, hey, man, why don't you worry about the balls that are heading your way before you take Chris Taylor's balls out there and try to, I didn't mean to say that, but out in front. But yeah, I think Max Muncy, he definitely needs to figure things out defensively. It hasn't looked good early on, but yeah, a lot of Dodger fans were freaking out yesterday on the post-game show. I mean, they were not happy, and you look at the rest of this infield and the fact that you haven't even had Miguel Rojas to really just establish himself. There's a lot of holes, and yeah, it's just, I think the Dodger fans are just not confident with his ability right now. I mean, yeah, just he really needs to step it up.
A couple of the comments on the tweet, the tweeter post, as we call it, and then we'll get into your guys' comments who are actually here and hanging out with us and being live. Surge underscore, well, this is at 3, hold on, numeric dyslexia here. At 2311 underscore Surge says 7. The Dodgers are going to need to address it soon. That being his defense. Jonathan says at this point in the season, most things are 1 or 2. Can't judge it off of less than 10 games, which is the small sample size seal of small sample sizes. I like this one a little bit here. Jay says he should play second base. He's rating it as a 7. He should play second. That's his best position, and Vargas should be given a shot at third, which kind of like we can go back a few months into the offseason when all of the conversation about like, oh, Miguel Vargas is going to be moving to second. That was kind of like, I think we had that thought internally too. It's like, why are they doing that? Well, if he's a natural third baseman, they say, and we've seen Muncy play probably outside of first his best defense at second. How come they just didn't keep it that way? What do you think?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think the simple answer to that one is the restriction on the shift. You need to range your more athletic second baseman. And last year, if you look at some of the shifts they had with Max Muncy, he was in a great position each and every time. And even if when he was, you saw the game against the Phillies, what goes right at him and he boots it. So occasionally he's going to have a misplay. But yeah, I don't think that's the move. I think you look at third base, if he does struggle, I mean, offensively, we haven't even talked about his offensive struggles, if that's kind of bleeding into his defense, because sometimes those things are interchangeable. If Max Muncy got out to a hot start in the box at the plate and he was having success, I think he'd be playing with a little more confidence at the hot corner. But yeah, Miguel Vargas, he's a guy that can play third, but also you have Chris Taylor. So once Miguel Rojas gets healthy, Chris Taylor's already had a start. He's already played at third this season, so you can see more of that. But really, they're going to give him as long as he really needs to see how he can perform offensively, because that really is the key to all this. I mean, him performing at third base is really contingent on him being able to produce at the plate, but you just can't have him playing the quality of defense that he's playing right now. I mean, he shouldn't even have a D on his Dodgers jersey. It should just say Ogres or something like that, because he has played with no D. So yeah, he definitely needs to step his game. But you know, I love you, Max, by the way. I love me some Max Muncy. Yeah. And that's the thing. Whenever he goes through a slump, whenever he struggles, he's one of the guys on this team that I know he's going to leave no stone unturned. He's going to be a gym rat, a cage junkie. He's going to get to the bottom of why he's struggling. But I do think that a part of this has to do just with his makeup and just with the fact that if Freddie Freeman wasn't on this team, if they didn't go out there and sign Freddie Freeman, and we know that Max Muncy, that offseason, he was doing all kinds of shows, and every time he was asked about Freddie Freeman, he was saying, oh, second base is my favorite position. I would love to move. It was for Freddie Freeman. But the reality is he was a really good first baseman. He would still be there if it wasn't for Freddie.
100%. Couple of good comments here. I'll admit I didn't listen to you earlier, so I don't know if you read any of these, but Roy, I like this one from Roy. He says, ground ball hit straight at you, and you try to backhand it, nothing to do with the dirt. Fair. And it says a bunt hit to third base, and deferring to the pitcher is little league. Little harsh, but I can understand the fervor from a Dodger fan. That is what being a fanatic is about bringing the spiciest hot takes you can. You know, you talked to Max early at spring training, and I already kind of alluded to this, but he talked about the comfort level. He's been playing there a lot, played there most of last year, and he felt really good going into it. He played well enough during the spring, and I do think it feels a lot to me like it was just that regular season switch. And game one, you go 0 for 5 with 5 Ks, you're going to be in your head real quick. And some of those, him swinging over curveballs, that's on you. But some of those close pitches, right on the paint, getting called strikes, that's just bad luck, and you got to move on, get past it. So I think he will eventually be fine. Joel Valles or Valles, I'm sure I'm saying it right, but I've decided to decree this as our Hornitos shot taker of the show. So boom, get yourself some delicious Hornitos from our friend at Hornitos. But this is a shot taker of the show, gang.
Shot take of the show.
And this is a real shot right here. This is a spicy take. Joel, if you will, says lock up Smith, a long-term deal, and move him to third base. DFA Chunky Muncy. Not going to DFA Muncy, but we have talked a little bit in the past about Will going to third. He has played a tiny bit of third base at AAA, or not at AAA, but at least in the minor leagues. The reality is this will not happen because Will is becoming a very good catcher in this game. Some people are making shirts that are calling him the best catcher in baseball.
Really?
But thoughts on all of that? I mean, it does. It opens a door for a friend of the show, Diego Cartaya.
I think there's more of a likelihood that you would see Diego Cartaya change positions than Will Smith, because Will Smith, he has made it known within the organization that he wants to be a catcher. And yes, when he was at Louisville, you did see some third base, and he is capable of playing that position. But his value, you look at his 24 home runs that he hit last season, you think 24 home runs from a catcher, right? You don't think of 24 home runs from a third baseman, and that's clearly a part of his value. And I think he's already kind of entered the stratosphere of not just one of the best catchers in the league as far as a hitter, but also one of the best players. And I think you stay with kind of what works with Will Smith. And yes, I totally agree. I mean, I've done pretty much now 3-4 videos now talking about extending Will Smith and how much sense it makes, and you buy out 3 of those arbitration years, you save some on the back end. But that's just not the MO of this organization. They're not intent on doing that. They want to maintain that payroll flexibility, and also you have tons of guys coming up in the pipeline you want to see if you can use. But yeah, Will Smith is not changing positions. I mean, at least not for now. I think he's also grown as a catcher too. If you look at the ERAs have improved across the board with Will Smith. I mean, pretty much have to squint now to see the ERA between Austin Barnes catching Kirsch and Will Smith catching Kirsch. He's improved as a game caller. I know some people critique his just on one knee kind of lackadaisical style, but that's just
Jerry.
kind of, pretty much Jerry. And also some of the Twitter hindsight hyenas, as I call them. But there are some people that kind of look back and kind of criticize whenever a play goes wrong. But yeah, Will Smith is going to remain at catcher, and I just don't think that's the answer right now, is moving him to third base. Because yes, he is a quality bat, but also it's the complete package as a receiver and as a hitter. And look, I think he likes the legacy of being kind of that next Dodgers great catcher, of kind of when you see the game as a catcher and you're used to working with pitchers, that really is your presence on the field. And that's tough to give up, is going from a catcher. You're really the quarterback out there, and to go to third base, I just don't see that at any point. Like if Diego Cartaya continues to rake, you saw him in AA Tulsa, and he continues to say, hey, we're just going to climb up these ranks, and at AAA I'm raking, and you say, hey, we can't keep this guy off the field, then maybe you have a difficult decision to make. But I think that's more of a DH versus catcher conversation versus a catcher versus third baseman conversation.
That's fair. And that is how you make conversation happen, with a nice shot taker. Where are you at? Oh, look at that. Look at that. It's not going to work. It's too blurry, but boom. Thank you, Joel, for the fun comment. And I'm hearing something.
Great comment.
We got now DJ producer That Fool Neil on the board. What do you got, Noel?
Hey, man. Shout out to Mr. Rasa.
Oh, my goodness.
Mr. Rasa on the stream?
23. He is donating $100, and he said, I want to see both of you taking one shot each. And his question is, what's going on with my boy Vesia?
Ooh, well,
I don't want to open. It's a beautiful set piece. We will take a shot. We have.
take a shot.
I think you have to.
Technically, I think we're legally not allowed to take a shot during the show.
That's true.
Yeah, we will. I promise you, we will. Maybe we'll have.
FaceTime me later.
No, we'll have to do it on our social media.
There you go.
That's what it is. So stay tuned. We're gonna do it after this show. Oh God.
Yeah.
Nothing better than a little shot of Hornitos before the drive home. That's a bad idea. That's not gonna happen. I didn't say that. Cut. Trim it. Cut it. Anyways, what was the question again?
It was what's going on with my boy Vesia?
Alex Vesia. He I don't know if it's the pitch clock thing. He doesn't look. I mean, the whole bullpen doesn't look necessarily overly comfortable. And I talked about him a little bit. You and I talked before the show about talking about the bullpen again. I think we had a decent discussion about it on Monday. And yeah, sure, it's been 3 games since then. I'm still worried about the lack of strikeouts from the bullpen. They're giving up a lot of hits. Base runners are getting on, maybe not so much walks, but the stuff isn't there. The velo outside of Yency deciding to come out and throw 97, or Bickford decided to come out and throw 97. The velo is down. I mean, we're seeing Phillips throwing 93 consistently right now, which is pretty well low, and Vesia is down in his velo, and he just, I don't know. To me, he looks like it's not the same guy right now. That's not Vesia, K-Strut Vesia.
Yeah, I think for starters, he looks uncomfortable out there on the mound. And I think there is some adjusting to the new pitch clock rules, but really it's about the command. He's throwing 58% strikes this year. He's not landing that slider for strikes. And when he's not doing that, that fastball up in the zone is not going to play up. And that is the key to his success. He has to land that fastball up in the zone and work the corners. And you see him give up too many extra base hits. And on those extra base hits, it's when he's leaving it out over the heart of the plate. So, yeah, he's struggling with command. He's not hitting his spots. It's not looking as electric. And as I mentioned on the postgame show, and as I have for quite some time now, he had the 8th longest time in between pitches last season at 24.8 seconds. So there is going to be an adjustment. He looked me dead in the eye and told me it was going to be an adjustment to really adjust the new pitch clock rules at spring training. I did see a little concern in his eyes. I mean, usually these guys are so good at just exuding confidence no matter what it is, but he really did give me an honest answer and say it is going to be an adjustment. But I will caution some doubters in the fact that he struggled last year during a stretch, and then he was lights out for the remainder of the season. Then, unfortunately, his season didn't end well. Of course, he gave up the hit to Cronenworth there in the NLDS. But, yeah, just to answer your question in short, 1, we will be doing a shot for you. 2, it's the command, not landing the slider. And I think, 2, one thing I want to point out, too, one of my things I noted yesterday was if he gives up a hit, you want to back up the catcher. You want to back up third base. And after he gives up base hits, you can see it gets rattled a little bit. You still want to play the fundamentals. And last night, it almost cost him. And then also, too, it looked like there was a little cross-up with Will Smith last night. They weren't on the same page. So, yeah, they need Alex Vesia. If you want to dig deep into some of these bullpen issues, is they really don't have a established lefty this year so far. So, yeah.
Well, it feels like nobody's established. It's still very early. They don't have a closer per se, even though Dave today said that for the most part they're going to save those opportunities for Evan Phillips, which to the surprise of no one. One of the notes from Dave yesterday after the game on Alex Vesia, he says, quote, "I think Alex is searching right now. Had a great year for us last year. I trust him in big spots. So he's going to figure it out. First couple of outings of the season haven't been ideal, but he's going to figure it out." So, Dave, the perpetual, I'm going to be on your side. If he wasn't that guy, I probably wouldn't see Phil Bickford remaining on this roster after his season last year. But it's still very early. We're talking here. 7 games played as of the time we're speaking.
Yeah, and also, too, people forget. I mean, yes, he was only able to get 1 out yesterday, but he did pitch a 1 inning against the Rockies. He had that clean inning, didn't give up a hit, and didn't have a walk. So, yeah, it's going to be a process for him, but you got to trust his stuff from an electric standpoint. I had people on the post-game show yesterday telling me they already wanted to see Victor Gonzalez get his opportunity. But, yeah, the reality for this bullpen is they need a lefty to really go out there and dominate, and he is the high-leverage lefty at the moment. You just need to see him sure up that command because, yeah, if you watch him, that's really what he's been struggling with.
And if you guys want Alex Vesia to do well, mash that like button. That's how he's going to do it.
Don't mess with Vesia.
Don't mess with Vesia. Appreciate the comments so far, guys. All right, let's talk about the other thing. Another one of the things Dodger fans are talking about, because I think we talked enough about Max Muncy. I'm pretty low on the concern scale right now. He's going to figure it out. Just give him time. It's early in the season. If we're talking about this again in 3 or 4 weeks, then you start to raise some alarms. But Dustin May, the beast, as he's been known on the internet, 1-0, could be 2-0 if it wasn't for that bullpen. Looking really, really good out there. He's not pitching for the strikeouts. He's pitching for contact. He's pitching for length in the game. He could have pitched into the 7th inning last night if he really wanted to. One of the things he talked about after the game, because he came out after that lengthy Dodger offensive, inning, what was it, in the 5th inning or whatever it was, he said one of the things he learned was that he needs to stay more ready. He pulled kind of a rookie mistake, and he didn't stay ready on the bench in between innings, and then he didn't feel as froggy, as crisp coming out of or coming back onto the mound. So that probably put him back a little bit. But this is where it's another one very early. But do we recalibrate, as you said, recalibrate the expectations of? Is this, was this just going to be like a guy going to be kind of like maybe the 4 or 5 guy to, is this a legitimate potential ace by the time we're looking at October.
I think it's absolutely fair to recalibrate those expectations. I think he's Dustin May. I think what you saw last night, he continues to evolve, going from a thrower to a pitcher. And you mentioned pitching to contact, him trusting his stuff in the zone, and that really has been the difference. I mean, if you look at that strikeout rate, 19% strikeout rate. I mean, we saw him throw over 37% strikeout rate before he was injured back in 2021. But the difference is, and we talked about this back when we were breaking down the season, is the key for Dustin May is working both sides of the plate and changing the eye levels with that four-seam fastball. And you're seeing him throw more four-seam than two-seam. And what that's allowing him to do, it's allowing him to miss bats. And it's not just that it's fast, it has spin and it has location. I mean, some of those pitches last night were just absolutely disgusting. I mean, just dotting 99-mile-per-hour fastballs on the corner. That cutter that he threw to Marte, I had to take a shower after. It made me feel so dirty. I mean, he was just so outstanding out there. And I definitely think when you look at his stuff, pure raw stuff, he takes a backseat to no one in this league. So to me, when you have elite stuff, there's no reason why you can't be an elite ace level pitcher. And I think he's a guy that you could see get Cy Young votes this season. I mean, we said back in November he was going to make the All-Star team. Now I regret saying, hey, he should have made the Cy Young award. So yeah, I think the big key for him is learning from each and every start. If you look at too, the repeatability of his delivery, I was looking at some of the highlights from last year. It was a little wonky in between pitches. Now his motion, his delivery, he's really smoothed out so many things where you're looking at just the four-seam fastball, the two-seam fastball, and they're coming out from different angles, but you're still seeing a similar delivery. So
as Vin would say back in the day, it's all elbows and kneecaps from somebody like Dustin May, but the elbows and kneecaps are very repeatable right now. 2 starts. But he looks like he's feeling really good after a healthy offseason and looking better than the guy we saw when he was dominating to open 2021. He had whatever, the 5 good starts, really 4 good starts, and then elbow gave. This is a dude who really can make an extreme. I mean, he's really had, his name is out there. He came up with a lot of hype. We had the ginger guard back in the day. He was going to be the guy, the next big guy coming out of the Dodgers farm system, could rival Walker Buehler. It says his injury happened at a different time. And of course, 60-game season kind of changed what that would have looked like for him. But I think this is the real deal. I think what we're seeing is the real deal. Is he going to put up a .69 ERA for the rest of the year? No. He's going to have some bad starts in there. But if he can just be quality, consistent. I mean, I think what Tony Gonsolin did last year is kind of very much within reach for D-May, if not a little bit better. Just getting more innings and staying healthy. That's going to be the big thing for him, staying healthy. It's a real deal, though. I like him. Yeah. He's a nice boy.
No, he's great. I think he's a guy that I mean, I have 2 concerns with him. The only concerns I have are, one, the most innings he's ever pitched in a season for a regular season, 56 innings in 2020. And then we saw Tony Gonsolin, when he blew past his innings count last season, he ended up getting injured. But the difference with Dustin May, he has that four-seam fastball. He's not relying on a split change or anything like that. So, yeah, I think what makes him so impressive is the efficiency. I mean, he's just so efficient. And also, too, like you mentioned earlier, is the ground ball outs. I mean, when he needs a ground ball out, he can get it early in counts, he can get it later in counts, and that allows him to go deeper into games. Before, he's gone 7 innings in his first start, 6 innings in his second start. Before that, he had gone 6 innings just 6 times in his career. So the length is so impressive, and I think Dustin May, Dustin Mania is here. Dustin Maniacs rise. This is finally, we're realizing that potential. And to me, I mean, come on, 96-mile-per-hour cutter. I mean, come on now.
And if he's able to land that more consistently, it was looking pretty solid. But he said it wasn't his best outing for sure. So if you're able to land that a bit more consistently, land the breaking a bit more consistently, or I should say locate the cutter more consistently and land the breaking more consistently, you're going to see somebody that is definitely getting his fair share of Cy Young love by the end of the season. Sonny, YouTube says, May pitch like DeGrom. Carnivorous Lunar Activities in the stream says, hello, Dodger Nation. I haven't looked at DeGrom's numbers. I think he's doing pretty
one
solid,
bad start and then one good start.
They pay him a lot, though. That seems like a bad idea.
I mean, when 185 and then you got the incentives. I think the thing about Dustin May, though, is the spin and the movement. And like I said, I mean, his stuff moves more than a U-Haul. So, I mean, no, just trying out new stuff.
You're upsetting. Stick to the company line.
Okay,
right?
I know I was playing. But no, the thing about Dustin May, too, is one thing I want to point out is if you look at his release on the 2-seam versus the 4-seam, you do see a little bit of a difference with a 3/4 arm release and this and that. So I think, too, will hitters adjust to that? And will it... How will he do after a bad start? I mean, how will he continue to adjust? Because we saw last year he came out of the gates very strong in that first start against the Marlins, and then he had his issues. He had that game where he gave the multiple home runs against the Padres. So, yeah, I think the most exciting thing for me with Dustin May is this guy, if he continues to mature, he continues to make incremental progress, he's the guy you could see carry a team in the postseason. That is how good his stuff gets. Get used to seeing Dustin May on Pitching Ninja all season long. This guy's stuff goes viral, and I think he has one of those special gifts. I mean, the way he grips it and rips it, he can do things with the pill that you just can't teach, and that's how you know a guy is special. So, yeah, it's great to see, especially coming off that Tommy John surgery, such a young, emerging player back in 2021 to sit that out, and then he comes back, and then he deals with a back injury, and didn't even see him in the NLDS. So I'm very excited for Dustin May and his potential. And look, the reality is, too, this rotation, they needed someone to emerge. They needed someone to take the leap, and it looks like so far he's that guy.
I'll throw in a pointless hot take. I say All-Star is the floor for D-May at this point. I don't know if that's a hot take. It's more of a statement, but All-Star is the floor for D-May. Anyways, that's the topics of sports things that we wanted to talk about there. We wanted to add one more just for fun because it is Masters Week, and our friends over at Sportsnet LA, hey, we're taking from them for the first time. They usually take from us, but they had posted a poll on the Twitter machine that says Masters Week at Augusta National. Which Dodger would you want to play a round of golf with? The options they had: Mookie Betts, Will Smith, Clayton Kershaw, Freddie Freeman. And by the way, 12.6% said Will Smith. That would be a terrible. I mean, yeah, he golfs well, but I mean, imagine golfing with Will Smith. Like, when we're talking about slope ratings, we're talking about like how many yards he gets out of his 7-iron.
Watching the grass grow as you're playing.
Talking about getting benched in the World Series. There's not very much to be. That would be the least exciting dude to golf with. Just saying.
You never know. You never know.
Love Will Smith. He's great.
So, but are you? But it's like, what are you going for? Are you going for the great companion, the guy you're gonna hear great stories with? Are you going with the guy you're trying to beat? To me, that would be my number one thing. Can I beat this guy? But I'm also going with
Freddie.
Yeah, you think you beat Freddie?
I beat a lot of these guys.
So who would you pick?
And I agree with. It was Mookie Betts was number one on this poll. Only 650 people voted, but 37.7% said Mookie Betts. For me, it's Clayton Kershaw all day because I think when he's not on the field, when he's not pitching, when he's not at Dodger Stadium, he's a dork. He's fun, and you can get. I mean, just think of the stories you can get out of Clayton Kershaw because this is a guy who's been a Dodger now in his 16th season. Before that, he's been through Vero Beach. He's got Tommy stories. He's got Vin stories. He's got Sandy Koufax stories. He's got AJ Ellis stories. He's got Josh Reddick stories, for crying out. This guy's got every type of situation with the Dodgers. He's got jumping in the pool in Arizona. That's just a fun time. And knowing that he's a good time, he doesn't take himself extremely seriously on the golf course, doesn't necessarily consider himself a golfer, that just adds to the fun. But for me, hands down, Clayton Edward Kershaw. Plus, you get to say, hey, I'm golfing with a Hall of Famer.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Did I sell you on this one?
Absolutely. I mean,
you want to be the third?
I was going to say Kershaw too, but I'll switch it up. I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, I think just to your point, I'd look at it as if someone 80, 90, 100 years from now asked me, who'd you go golfing with? That's going to be the best story because he was the best player of the bunch. He's the most iconic and legendary player. And two, yeah, Clayton Kershaw, when he's not on the mound, he can be a fun guy. You see him at the ping pong tournaments. But
yeah,
I also,
too, doing overdone golf attire. Ooh.
Yeah, no, he'd be pretty good with it. No question about it. But I think for me, I want to show off at the golf course. I want people to respect me. I want people to think, all right, man, I'm golfing with some real legit golfers. So you know what I'm going with? I'm going with Ryan Pepio. I'm going with the man who has the Pepio in his Stepio, and he's the guy who hit a hole-in-one. He's the guy you talked about the fun. He's got the Sunday swagger gear with all the fun polos, and he's a fun guy too. A lot of diverse interests. I mean, he said his dream golf foursome, the one guy he'd pick was Happy Gilmore, one of my favorite movies.
That's a good answer.
So yeah, he would be one. I think Freddie Freeman has already proven he's a good caddy too. Of course, he's Mookie's caddy when they did the dress-up day. So yeah, there's that. I think he'd be pretty fun too. But yeah, I think it'd be tough. I mean, in my heart of hearts, if I had to answer that question 100% honestly, how could you go with anyone other than Clayton Edward Kershaw? I mean, like I said, he's the one guy in that clubhouse who, even me trying to be Mr. Objective, Big J journalist, professional, I'm like, hey man, could you autograph this ball and give me a selfie? You know what I mean? He's like the one guy.
Kershaw.
Hey Kershaw. And also too, I've been trying to get him to interview and talk to me, and it's difficult.
Talk to you. I love that.
Notice
me.
So if I get that, I'm gonna be like, all right, recording, let's go live.
Yeah.
Hey Kershaw, what's your favorite baseball movie?
We challenge you to 3 holes at Brookside. It's close enough. Let's have a good time. Your treat.
Exactly.
I think you can afford it. All right.
Who's the most famous guy on your phone, Kersh?
Andrew Friedman. You got something? Oh, I know. I saw. We got something special here. And guys, before we get out of here, we want to know who you'd want to golf with. So drop into the chat. But what do you got? We switched producers mid-show because Cody had to leave. But DJ producer, Mr. That Fool Noel.
Yes, sir. Yes,
what do you got? What do you got?
Shout out Diane Schroeder.
Yeah.
Thank you, Diane. She said you guys look pretty thirsty for the beer tip jar, so she's giving us some money for a little drink.
Awesome, appreciate that. We do need to replenish the beer supply here. Oh wow, he had a floor CZ. Let's go. I forgot to grab beverage. We need
a couple shots of tequila in here, so
you don't got a lot of kick it, bro. Not even slightly. Let's see if we got anything. Terry Gates on YouTube said Freddie. They would want to golf with Freddie. Roy says Clinton D-Mac driving the beer cart. Oh, dude, no, we need to do, but not really, because I've done that a lot in my life, is do the golf ball pickup dudes on the driving range, be in the cart together.
Oh my God, it'd be so much fun.
I think you would be just absolutely terrified of people just wailing on you with their balls, if you will.
Yeah, I'd definitely wearing like a football helmet with a visor or something like that.
I got completely, I did that a lot as a youth, and I got completely desensitized to sudden sounds.
Freak out, yeah.
Oh yeah, you get freaked out easy.
Yeah, I do. I'm pretty jumpy.
You remember driving back from Arizona? Like I think I coughed, and he's like, he gets real freaky deaky over here.
But it would be pretty awesome, yeah, to match up with some of those guys and just maybe a JT's golf course, JT's golf tournament next year. We can make it happen.
Sean says we need Clinton D-Mac bobbleheads.
Wow, that'd be pretty cool.
Do we know any bobblehead people? Right there, use those little characters from our friend Cooper Neal.
Are the Dodgers gonna win today?
All signs point to Doug. Let's see.
I think Jay Dilla one says that Kershaw's gonna be wearing the Skechers golf shoes. Those will be fire.
I wear Skechers golf shoes. They're extremely comfortable. You know what's great about them? You could be in like 3 inches of water, and your socks stay dry. That's clutch. That's some clutch stuff right there. You would need something like that because you're gonna be,
That's why I want to golf. To be honest, I can wear those Jordan 4 golf shoes. Those would be fire.
Been known to golf here and there. Let's see. No, this is D-Mac doesn't sleep because we're talking about you're burning. Apparently, you're burning the midnight oil, as the people are saying on here.
Yeah.
DKM says D-Mac, Clint, can you guys golf? We've golfed before. Check it out. It's somewhere on the YouTube channel. We did the Dodger Stadium Top Golf Challenge, and somebody won. Definitely somebody won. You have to tune in, though. You have to watch it.
But I will give you your credit, though, because I definitely got lucky that day for sure on the closest.
I just gave it away.
Okay. Sorry. Spoiler alert. Remember, that's the one we lost a subscriber, remember?
Oh, yeah.
So I did get lucky that day, but when we were at spring training, this guy was a monster at Top Golf. I mean, I'm pretty sure he broke the scoring machine. It was like insane, but yeah.
Well, as soon as I learned you get points for hitting it off the back fence, it was game over. Like, this kept giving me like triple points for that. Come on.
What do you think is harder, golf or baseball?
Baseball's the hardest sport. Like, what is it? There's nothing harder than hitting a round ball with a round bat squarely.
That's true. But in golf, you have to play your foul balls.
Anyways, this is an exciting. Yeah, that's fair. This is an exciting end of the show, guys. We were talking about golf for sure. Shout out Tiger Woods. Shout out Bruce Koepka, as Doug calls him. Looking forward to some Masters this weekend. I got to go home and take care of some flooring. But guys, thank you for tuning in, hanging out with us as you always do. We still somehow went about an hour, so we find a way to make
quality
these shows.
show, in my opinion.
There's some good stuff in there. If you guys like Dodger Talk, there's some good stuff in there.
5 times
Find us on the internet. We are at DodgersNation.com. I already talked about it in the little promo, which apparently was a little too monotone for some folks, so I'll have to redo that, and I'll be like, hey, what's going on, guys? If you like the Dodgers, you're going to love this. Boy.
Zany Clint. I like Zany Clint.
Like, how are you supposed to make reading an ad read?
Hey, you guys enjoy the dulcet tones of Mr. Pasillas, okay?
Meow, meow, meow. We are a podcast. Look up Dodgers Nation Blue Heaven podcast on anywhere your podcasts live, and you'll find us there most likely. Hit post-game show is going to be on there, all that kind of stuff. Subscribe on our YouTube channel. It's a great way to also support us. We're trying to get to 100 billion subscribers, but we'll settle with 100,000 by, I don't know, the end of the year. It would be pretty cool. We're at like 60 some odd.
By Easter.
By the middle of next
Easter?
Next Easter. I don't know. But while you're on YouTube, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a like, comment on every single video. Helps out the algorithm. I am RealFRG on Twitter and Instagram. That guy right there is DMac_LA on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for all the questions. Follow us at Dodgers Nation on Twitter and Instagram for all the best things that we think we can do in that particular day. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll see you next week. Bye. So now you have the button, so you have to push outro. There's on the thing. It's on the bottom left. Sorry, we switched producers. This is the first time doing this. No, on the little black box next to your right hand.
Big blue.
Now, no, too far.
And we're still live. Yeah?
We are still live. Okay, bye.
Give me those score predictions for tonight's game. Who you guys got?